On December 11th, 2012, 3 employees were killed and another 14 injured in a tragic workplace fire at a warehouse. And while this incident had severe consequences for the victims and their families, the fire was a needless tragedy that could have been avoided had employees of the facility followed some simple safety precautions. That's the purpose of this program, to review basic housekeeping practices that can prevent workplace fires and to discuss other hazards that could contribute to employee injuries but can be controlled by good housekeeping. Before we get started, one important point must be made. Good housekeeping is everyone's responsibility. It doesn't matter what position you hold or what type of task you are performing. Keeping your work area tidy and free of clutter should be every employee's obligation. It's part of your commitment to safety, and your actions go a long way in showing your coworkers that you want everyone to go home safe at the end of each day. While preventing slips, trips, falls, and other injuries is important, perhaps the key element of good housekeeping is fire prevention. A major part of preventing fires is removing unnecessary amounts of clutter that could serve as fuel for a fire already burning, or the actual material that ignited a fire. Keep in mind that reducing clutter on site is important at all times, not just when materials accumulate excessively and cannot be ignored. Maintaining a clutter-free and organized work area should be a daily goal of every employee. Make sure equipment is maintained and in good condition regularly, and keep tools and supplies in order throughout your shift. Only keep the amount of supplies needed for your shift in your work area, and if you have too much on hand, they can cause a small fire to rage into a large one. When cleaning up your area, place materials in metal waste baskets, preferably with lids that close tightly. As we saw earlier, plastic trash cans should be avoided in areas that have the potential for fire, as they often become fuel for the fire themselves. The fire in the opening became much worse because the cans were plastic and waste inside them ignited, and the flames spread rapidly. Waste and debris should be removed from buildings regularly, usually on a daily basis. But removal may be required more frequently on shifts when buildup occurs rapidly. Waste should be emptied into large metal containers that should be located at least 25 feet away from the building. A dust-free zone of 10 feet should be maintained from any furnace, boiler, and equipment that generates large amounts of heat. The ignition of dust was the actual cause of the fire we witnessed earlier.
The investigation of this fire indicated an accumulation of dust around the small motor on generator number 3, which ignited when the unit got hot. The employees in the area were supposed to clean up the dust and debris around the unit, but it come to find out that when we interviewed them later, they were more concerned about pulling a big order than cleaning up their debris, which thus caused the fire.
It is important to remove dust from hard-to-reach surfaces and areas that aren't in plain sight. Dust accumulation in closets and other rooms that aren't occupied often should also be removed on a regular basis. It is much more effective to use vacuums to remove dust rather than compressed air, which only redistributes the dust and makes the likelihood of a fire worse. Unused pallets and other combustible materials should be neatly organized and stored at least 25 feet from the building and sources of ignition. Creating large piles of various discarded materials and equipment is not only a fire hazard, it encourages the disposal of other clutter in the same area, which makes the situation even more dangerous. Fires often occur when flammable liquids such as paint or ethanol are mishandled. An ignition source can ignite flammable vapors from these substances when there is enough oxygen present for a fire to burn. To prevent flammables from contacting ignition sources, portable containers with flame arresters should be used when handling them. Also, these substances should be stored in flame-proof, well-ventilated storage cabinets when not in use. If you have any questions about how to properly store or handle a flammable material, make sure to consult its safety data sheet or the container label. Anytime you are transferring flammable liquids from a drum or barrel to a portable container, always use the appropriate bonding and grounding procedures approved by your company to prevent sparks from igniting a fire. Like any other work materials, you should only keep the amount of a flammable chemical required for the job at hand in your work area. Make sure to put soiled rags and towels used to clean up grease and other flammable substances in fireproof containers after use, because they can generate enough heat to spontaneously ignite. As we noted earlier, a cluttered work area with excessive amounts of supplies is a fire hazard. But that's not the only issue. A chaotic workstation also affects your productivity. You should take pride in maximizing your productivity by planning your tasks ahead of time and organizing your work area accordingly. Return tools after use to the proper storage location so they don't clutter your work area and can be found when needed. This also prevents them from contributing to an injury to you or a coworker. It's a good idea to label cabinets and drawers with their contents so you can save time and confusion when returning tools and supplies to their proper places and then when retrieving them again. Don't store items on stairs or in aisles or in front of exits, even if only temporarily. Also, make sure to keep areas in front of fire extinguishers, first aid kits, fire alarms, eye wash stations, safety showers, or other emergency equipment clear at all times. If you notice that someone has placed items in one of these areas, don't assume that they will come back and remove them. If possible, move the items to a safe location or notify your supervisor if you can't safely move them by yourself. As we saw in the beginning of this program, materials stored improperly can have disastrous consequences. Always place pallets, boxes, and other items not in use in the appropriate storage areas. In addition to increasing the risk of fire, poor housekeeping often contributes to fall injuries as the result of slips and trips. In fact, fall injuries are the second leading cause of workplace deaths and the third most common cause of disabling injuries among employees. Materials, tools, and other items obstructing aisles, cords draped across floors, uncoiled hoses, and open file drawers are just a few of the tripping hazards that can be encountered in the workplace. And what seems like a harmless trip over one of these obstructions can sometimes have severe consequences. If you discover a tripping hazard in your workplace, especially one that is in a designated walkway, follow your company's policy for having this situation remedied. This could be as simple as moving the object yourself or marking it so others are aware of the hazard and reporting it to the proper authority so it can be corrected. Failing to promptly correct trip hazards causes many fall injuries each year. By using good housekeeping procedures, you can prevent items from ever becoming tripping hazards to begin with. Store ladders in approved areas, out of aisles, and walkways. Byproducts and other pieces of scrap should be disposed of in an approved container or stacked out of paths of travel until they can be properly removed. Stacks of materials such as pipes and boards can shift during the day and become a tripping hazard. Be sure to take the time to correct any problems before an injury occurs. In addition to correcting tripping hazards, A key element of good housekeeping is looking out for and resolving conditions that can cause a slip. Sawdust, metal shavings, and other particles created by equipment and machine operations can accumulate and become a slipping hazard. Areas where this is the case should be swept regularly to prevent slip and fall injuries. If you discover a leak or spill of a non-hazardous substance, make sure to mark it with a barrier or sign to alert others of the situation. You should then clean up the material thoroughly or report it to the proper authority as soon as possible. If you have to clean up leaks from a certain vessel or piece of equipment every day, try to find where the leaks are coming from. If you can't stop the leaks yourself, call maintenance to come make repairs. Many hazardous chemicals require special handling by an emergency spill response team for proper cleanup and disposal. Learn your facility's procedures for reporting spills and leaks of hazardous substances. If you have questions about any substance that has leaked or spilled, promptly notify your supervisor. Slip hazards that often go unnoticed or ignored are those that can be tracked into the building from outdoors, such as snow, ice, rainwater, dirt, and mud. Make sure to mark these hazards when you see them and then clean them up, or contact the appropriate personnel to have the situation remedied. Get in the habit of checking your shoes or boots when coming inside from inclement weather, and make sure the soles are free of anything that could be tracked through the building before proceeding. The most important thing you can do when you notice a slip or trip hazard in your workplace is to take action. Don't wait for somebody else to take care of it. Either rectify the problem on your own, or go through the proper channels established by your organization and make sure it will be handled in a timely manner. As you keep up a neat and organized workstation, apply those principles to your person as well. Paying attention to your personal hygiene in the workplace can help reduce the spread of germs and disease, leading to a healthier and more productive environment. This starts before we even get to the workplace. Bathe on a regular basis. This keeps your skin clean and healthy. It also lowers body odors, which can be distracting in the workplace. Make sure to keep your hair clean, neat, and tidy as well. Brush and floss your teeth daily. This helps to avoid bad breath. Visiting a dentist also helps you maintain good oral health, which leads to good overall health. Wear deodorant or antiperspirant daily if you tend to sweat. Housekeeping and cleanliness is just as important in the office as it is out on the shop floor. Because offices are usually close quarters with a variety of different people, it's not difficult to see how germs can spread easily in the office environment. This is where housekeeping can help to keep you and your coworkers healthy. Start by keeping your desk area clean. Jumbled papers on the floor can be slip and trip hazards, and if they are located near a personal heater, they can be a fire hazard. Research has shown that office desks can have 400 times more bacteria than a toilet seat. To minimize this, keep a tidy desk that is easier to clean with antibacterial wipes or sprays. Pay particular attention to the desk surface, keyboard, mouse, phone handset, and other regularly used items. Do not store unsealed food in your desk and avoid eating at your desk. Hand sanitizer and facial tissues are helpful items to have at your desk. Both things help to limit the spread of germs. However, don't rely on sanitizer only. Wash your hands with warm water and soap throughout the day, especially before eating and after visits to the restroom. While in the restroom, keep it clean as well. Do not leave unnecessary paper around toilets and sinks. To prevent contaminating your hands on the way out, open the door with a paper towel if available and dispose of it in a trash can. If the restroom needs attention, let the cleaning department know. During a shift, most workers generally get some kind of break. Many choose to relax in the kitchen, cafeteria, or break room. However, housekeeping never takes a break. Break areas can frequently have slip hazards. When entering these areas, pay attention to the floor surface. If you see a spill, clean it up or mark it and then notify the cleaning personnel. When using a microwave, cover food before cooking. This limits food getting on the top and sides of the machine. If the food does leak out of the container, wipe it up quickly rather than letting it dry. Make sure to wash your coffee mug regularly with warm water and soap. Do your part to keep hard surfaces clean by quickly wiping up spills and using disinfectant cleaners when possible. Maintaining a clean space allows everyone to benefit from a clean and healthy workplace. Indeed, good housekeeping is everyone's responsibility. Your dedication to maintaining a neat, organized, and hazard-free work environment should become a habit and shouldn't vary in importance from one day to the next. Your organization has determined that good housekeeping practices are a priority in maintaining a safe workplace and preventing fires on site. Your willingness to take the time to follow those practices will show others that you have the attitude, work ethic, and commitment to perform your job as safely as possible all the time. So take pride in your work and your organization. Now, go have a good day and a safe day.